Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year 2025. This is the monthly update video where I'm going to be talking about what went on in 2024. I've already done a year recap video, which you can check out if you want a little bit more detail about the whole year. And I'm going to talk about what is coming up in the very packed month, first month of the year, January 2025. I always like to begin by highlighting three big things that I think you might be interested in. So big thing number one, I am offering a online open enrollment class, Ancient Philosophers on Friendship, that is beginning this month in January on the 16th. And it's going to be a great class. This is the second time that we've done it, and we've expanded it from 10 weeks to 12 weeks by adding a new text. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in the January section. Big thing number two, another huge online event that you probably don't want to miss. We're going to do a one-day seminar where we'll do 90-minute sessions, 3 of them coming up this month as well. And what is it about? Hegel's master-slave dialectic and beyond. So the first part of it is going to be unpacking the master-slave dialectic. Then we're going to look at interpretations of the master-slave dialectic. Then we're going to look at how Hegel moves beyond and incorporates the insights from that. So that's another don't want to miss sort of feature. We're going to begin in the morning and finish up in the afternoon. Big thing number 3, we have the Worlds of Speculative Fiction lineup all set up. You voted and gave suggestions, and the top ones went in for the final 3 slots, and we've got a lot of really cool series lined up, so I'm looking forward to you joining me on those. Those are just a few of the big things coming up this month and this year ahead. All right, so what took place in December 2024? Well, we had a lot of online events, including Scott and I teaming up again for another classic metal class where we looked at a number, I think it was 7 hypothetical what-ifs from heavy metal history. Would this have changed things? Would that have changed things? That was a lot of fun. I did my usual Ask Me Anything session, got a lot of great questions for that. Worlds of Speculative Fiction, we finished up with Tad Williams' Memory, Sorrow, Thorn trilogy, looking at the absolutely massive 1,000 plus pages third book of the trilogy and that epic fantasy trilogy. Andy and I, we also did a special event. We did a presentation on care, ethics, and food at the Global Disruption Summit. And what else? We released Wisdom for Life, episode 90. That's a radio show that Dan and I do, and we're still working our way through the Stoic paradoxes. So those are the things that went on. Oh, and I should mention, we finished up with Seneca's On Anger, looking at book 3 in the Understanding Anger series. And of course, December is the end of the academic year. I was teaching 4 academic courses this last semester. I almost said this year, but that's not quite accurate, is it? So 2 at Marquette University. Both of them were basically intro to philosophy classes that they call foundations in philosophy. And then I taught 2 classes at Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. One of them an upper level professional writing class. And that was a lot of fun. A lot of cool stuff that my students produced. And then I also got to teach a class that I'd taught before, Ursula K. Le Guin's Earthsea saga, looking at it from philosophical and literary perspectives. So that wrapped up quite nicely. And I think you may have noticed, if you follow me in social media, that I spent a lot of time doing volunteer work at Almost Home Cat Rescue, taking care of the cats, greeting people and also keeping an eye on them a bit during open house times. And, I'm filling in general when other volunteers can't make it on nights that I actually can. Did a lot of writing that you may have seen in my Substack. A lot of cool stuff coming up there. And what else? Got together, of course, with my kids and my dad for Christmas. That was very nice. We played some Catan. We had some good meals together. We also played some Cards Against Humanity. My kids were a little bit surprised and shocked about just how open-minded and knowledgeable my dad is. I think younger people sometimes forget that we were younger people at one time as well. So that was a lot of fun, and did a lot of video work. I did an interview with Davud Ghazli where it's Ideas That Matter Reversed. He interviewed me after I've interviewed him. I did a video about commissioning videos that I've been getting some use out of because people are always asking me, will you do some videos about this? And my answer is, yeah, if you want me to stop what I'm doing and you want to like pay for the time that's involved in the thought and the preparation, sure. If you want to pony up, I'll do that. So far, no takers, although I've had plenty in the past. I did a great quick takes about what to make of people having an elite background. Does it mean that they're any higher quality when it comes to their research, their thinking? Answer's no. I did some releases of the question and answer videos about Stoicism and the cardinal virtues from the class that I taught last year, which, by the way, I'm going to be doing again this year in the Study with Sadler Academy in an 8-week rather than 6-week version, because I think it really does require that. I did a few Sadler's Stories videos, the last of which I released just a few days ago. You may have seen. It's about my old Army days. And I did quite a few core concept videos. I wanted to finish up the series on Seneca's work on anger, and I indeed did do that. And I also had another series that I'm trying to finish up. I shot a number of videos on Aristotle's Poetics for some of my students probably a year and a half ago. I wanted to finish up the study of that work, and so I've shot a number of videos, most of which have been released, some of which are yet to be released. And yeah, that is what is going on for December. I also did a good bit of podcast work, got back to doing some of the Mind and Desire podcast episodes for my Substack subscribers, and then I released them to the general public. I did a lot of Sadler's lectures, podcast episodes, many of which were on Jorge Luis Borges' stories. Some I did on Le Guin's first two Earthsea stories and her essay on anger. I'm going to be teaching a class on that coming up soon. And then finally, towards the end of the month, I started releasing some of the episodes on Seneca's on anger. So I was shooting videos and releasing them and then turning them into podcast episodes. And that all worked out pretty good, I would say. So that is what went on in December. All right, so what do we have coming up in January 2025? It's a pretty packed month, lots of stuff going on. And let's start with talking about events. So tomorrow on the 2nd, I'm going to host an event at noon Central Time. All the times, by the way, Central Time, so make sure you check your time zones. And this is going to be about why you should break your New Year's resolutions and what you can do that's better than having New Year's resolutions, meaning what is more likely to be successful for you. So that'll be a fun online event to kick off the year. Then on Saturday, the 4th, I'll be emceeing somebody else's event. Massimo Pigliucci, Greg Lopez, and Meredith Kuntz are releasing, they're doing a book launch party, and it's of their book Beyond Stoicism, which is all about Hellenistic philosophy. Cool philosophy is a way of life, and I will be emceeing that event. Already about 300 people signed up for it. You can see the link to that below. By the way, you can find links to all of these things in a number of different places. On that same day at 2 p.m., I will be having my monthly philosophy chat for Patreon supporters. And, I'll be chatting with them about the plans for the year. So, if you're interested in getting in on that, you might consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. On the 11th at noon, I will have my usual AMA session that I would typically have at the beginning of the month, but, we've got the book launch, so that's going to displace that. You can pop in and ask me any sort of questions that you like, and I'll hopefully be able to get to them. There's a lot of people who do ask questions, and so sometimes I can't get to everyone, but that'll be a lot of fun to start the year. Then on the 16th at 9 a.m. Central Time, we have our first class session for the Ancient Philosophers on Friendship class. And if you have ever wondered about, that Aristotle has his theory of 3 different kinds of friendship, it's actually more complicated than that. And you've wondered, well, what did other ancient philosophers have to say about it? Plato, Plutarch, Cicero, Seneca, Epictetus, Dio-Chrysostom, Lucian, the Epicurus, Lucretius. These are all people who have something interesting and useful to say. So that can be a really great class. Space is limited, so you want to get in as soon as you can if you're going to enroll in it. So that'll be the first class session. Then on the 18th, we'll be having a series of seminars, 3 of them, actually 90 minutes each, all oriented, as I reminded you about in the 3 big things, on Hegel's master-slave dialectic. So at 9 a.m., we're going to begin by looking at the self-consciousness section and the master-slave dialectic and what it means and why it has to happen, according to Hegel. Then we're going to continue through the day. We're going to look at a bunch of interesting interpretations of it. And then after that, we're going to look at why Hegel doesn't stop with a master-slave dialectic, where we go from there, specifically into the Stoicism, Skepticism, Unhappy Consciousness section that brings the self-consciousness section to an end. So if you've ever wondered about that part of Hegel's work and you want to know, more than just a slogan or bullet points about the master-slave dialectic, you can study with me, somebody who has been reading him for, 25 years, did the half-hour Hegel project. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Then moving on the next day, and this is tentatively scheduled, I don't have confirmation yet, Scott Terulli and I will be doing classic metal class again. We've got a whole bunch of great topics lined up for the year ahead that we're kind of juggling around, and a lot of it has to be oriented around Scott's own schedule because he is a practicing musician who's in pretty high demand, so we try to get these in as often as we can. And then we will finish up the month with another great event on the 25th at noon. Worlds of Speculative Fiction 2025 kicks off, and we've got a massive world that we're exploring. We've already done 2 sessions in the past on Stephen Erikson's Malazan Book of the Fallen, this 10-book series. We are now going to be focusing on Book 5 and Book 6 of that series. We'll be looking at world building, philosophical themes, and Book 6, I will tell you, the Bone Hunters, all the themes that he's been working with up until that time are coming together in really cool, interesting ways. Characters who we left behind are coming back, so that is going to be an awesome session, and I hope you can make it. What do we got coming up? Well, I've mentioned those online classes and seminars with the Study with Sadler Academy. Anybody can join them. I'll also be teaching at least 2 academic classes. And I say at least 2 because Marquette University has a a history of calling me up rather last minute before the semester begins and saying, we really need somebody to fill in over here. Can you do it? And usually if it fits my schedule, I'll say, sure, I'll do that. But I've got 2 classes lined up at Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. One of them, actually both are online. One of them is a synchronous class, which means we're meeting once a week, and that is oriented around anger and justice. It's the class that I've taught several times at Marquette University, and now I'm going to be teaching it for MyEd. The other class, which I'll be developing some resources for that you'll probably see in February and March, is on philosophies as a way of life. And I've taught it 3 times already, 4 times already for MyEd. We usually look at some hedonistic philosophy, the Cynics, the Stoics, and then it's kind of up to me what I want to do for the rest of the semester. I'm leaning towards some Aristotelian stuff and maybe some Platonic stuff as well. So how do you apply these things? The students actually use the practices in their life to see whether it makes their lives any better. And it's officially called Philosophy, Mindfulness, and Life. The orientation in mindfulness is being mindful of practices and precepts and one's own emotional states and stuff like that. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'll also be doing, more volunteer work at Almost Home and probably doing some other important things as well in the local community. Video work, I've got a lot lined up. I've got an Ideas That Matter video to release that I didn't get to release in 2024 coming up, and I'll be doing some more of these interviews with other people. I'm also going to be doing some videos about the services that I offer, including, tutorial services and philosophical counseling. I'll be doing more Sadler Stories videos, and I want to do a video that I've been planning to do for quite a while, looking at who the other Greg Sadlers that are out there in the internet world. There's well over 30 of them that have profiles, who these people are, right? It might be kind of an interesting thing. I'm also going to be doing a lot of core concept videos. I've still got some more on Aristotle's Poetics to release. I've got one sort of orphan that I never got to from Descartes' Meditations to shoot. And then I've got a bunch of videos that I'd meant to shoot on Augustine's Confessions and never got around to. So I'm going to be doing those this month. And I just put out a vote about which Philip K. Dick book should be the next one for the Speculative Fiction Studies series. And it looks like Ubik is the leader in that. So I'm going to be shooting. I don't know if I'll get to release, but I'll certainly be shooting video on Ubik this month. Perhaps those videos will come out in February. I've also got some podcast work to do, finishing up releasing the podcast episodes on Seneca's On Anger. And then I'll put out a resource page on that in my Substack, putting all of them together for you. I've also got a series on Karl Popper's Towards a Rational Theory of Tradition, a very cool article. And, we've got Aristotle's Poetics, releasing the videos. Let's turn those into podcast episodes as well so people can download them and listen to them. If I have enough time, I'll also be taking some of those speculative fiction studies videos on Philip K. Dick's Man in the High Castle, turning them into podcast episodes. But that might be a task that'll wait for February. We'll see how busy I get with all the things that I've got going on. So that is January 2025. I'm sure there'll be a couple other things that I haven't mentioned here, so you want to keep on top of things, checking social media, lots of cool opportunities to interact if that's what you're looking for, including those 2 online class and seminar opportunities in the Study with Sadler Academy. I hope that this is a great year ahead for all of us, and that you are celebrating the new year in some way that's enjoyable for you. And hopefully I'll see you at some of these online events. So that is it from me. Now the year waits for all of us to start putting in the work.